How y'all doing? This is the Truth Meme. I am also known as the Living Meme on Facebook. Today I'm introducing the Bodybuilding reality show. I'll show you the truth about natural cures and health conspiracy, as well as many entertaining topics related to bodybuilding. Right now I'm watching this video about water, and especially spring water, which is very healing for the body.
And you need somebody to test the water. Once the company know you're going to be testing the water, they would less be apt to put something in the water. Two, get a dog or a cat and put the water down. They don't drink it. There's something wrong with it. See, a dog or a cat, and this is the problem with Jimmy Jones. When they said Jimmy Jones and the people was drinking the Kool-Aid with the cyanide in it, and the cats and the dogs was dead, a dog would not drink straight Kool-Aid, less long Kool-Aid with cyanide in it. Okay, if you take water out the tap and put it for a dog or a cat, they will walk around it. Not just so happen chlorine and fluorine is a gas. All gas move to a higher level, and so there's a period when the dog or the cat will come and drink the water. But I would say don't drink the still water unless you're on a fast, because the still water will rob your body of minerals. Don't drink mineral water, because mineral water is radioactive. But spring water is the water to drink. That's number one. The body's 97% liquid, and out of that, it's 85% water. Alzheimer's disease comes from lack of drinking water. The lower back problems we have come from lack of drinking water. Gallstones and kidney stones come from lack of drinking water. And then again, if someone come and told you to drink clean water, even if what they said was wrong, if it didn't do nothing for you, it's not going to do nothing against you. You have not put anything in your body that would create any type of problem. Number two, physical fitness. And we as African Americans have to stop looking at physical fitness as some game. We have to stop looking at it as some age, as some sex. Every black person, regardless of how old they are or how young they are, babies get there. They move around in the crib, they do their thing. And so we got drinking water, physical fitness, and sleep. And if I had to rearrange that, I would probably put sleep first. Rest. One of the big horrors, particularly in the black community, it happens all over. It's like a rest. The body, the brain, 90 minutes after the sun go down, the radiation belt in the atmosphere do a flip-flop. And it recharges the brains, and all the sleep you get after midnight don't count. That's what the story of Cinderella's about. And so for those of you out there just listening to me, try it. And usually you say 7 days. Let me tell you how you drink your water. When you start drinking water, when you're not used to drinking water, you're going to go to the bathroom a lot if you have a job. God didn't leave leeway for jobs. You know, Jesus Christ is God's son. Jesus didn't work. You know, if you look at all the rich, super rich people, Prince Charles, they never had a job. And Queen Elizabeth, I don't think she even knew how to spell it. You know, and I believe every day, if you went to Buckingham Palace and took every dictionary they had, I do not believe they put the word job in there or work. And so when you look and say, well, I can't do this because I have to work, the universe will not bend over for you. Now, you get up in the morning, the minute you get up, you drink a glass of water. If you're not driving over long periods of time where you're going to need to go to the toilet, drink 2 glasses of water. When you get to wherever you're going, between that time at 11 o'clock, drink 2 more. Now you got the rest of the day to drink the other 4. Now, here's a simple law. Would a 6-month-old baby drink 8 glasses of water? No. Mothers give babies water by ounces, X amount of ounces. Well, the real game is we just say 8-ounce glasses of water. Whatever you weigh in pounds, you're supposed to drink half that in ounces. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're supposed to drink 100 ounces of water. If you weigh 1,000 pounds, you're supposed to drink 500 ounces of water. Now let me tell you how water works. If I held up, if this was a piece of cloth, and I held it here, and I gave you a sharp hatchet, and you hit this cloth, you would tear it. If I put this cloth in a bathtub of water and you hit it, you couldn't tear it. It floats with the water. The body's the same way. If you fall, if you're injured, if you're in an automobile accident, this is why babies can fall out windows. We read about it all the time. And don't die, because the water balance is there. Okay, And rest, rest. Even when you're not sleeping, rest, rest, rest. And when I'm talking about rest, I'm not talking on the phone talking. I'm talking about taking some time out every day where you just close the system down. A minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just close it down. And that rejuvenates the body. And so now we're talking about sleep and rest. We're talking about water, and we're talking about physical fitness. Now, jogging is not physical fitness. Weightlifting is not physical fitness. Physical fitness is, first your heel got to touch the ground. So if you're on a bicycle, that don't count. If you're walking up steps, that don't count. The heel got to touch the ground. If you're running, what is running? When both your feet is off the ground at the same time, it could be 1/10 billionth of a second, that's running. Now what happens then? Because of gravity pull, anytime both your feet is off the ground at the same time, which is called running, when your feet hit, it sends 2.5 times your body's weight up your legs, to your knees, up to the spine, and sends shock waves to the brain, which damage it. And so walking. Now, walking in the evening don't count. In the morning, when you lay down in bed and go to sleep, the grease in your bloodstream comes up to the top. If you go out and walk vigorously, don't start off that way, but you have to walk to the point that you just tired and sweating and all, you push all it out. Now, what you will notice, even joggers, if joggers go out and run, the day they take off, they get very irritable around 10 o'clock. That's when that grease starts moving back into the bloodstream. And so the three things is rest. And you see, one of the great tricks, and it's funny, everybody working 2 jobs except the people that control. They don't work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, a job and something on the side. It's not about that. Show me somebody that has 2 jobs. I'll show you somebody that has no money. That's a game they play. Some kind of way we have to redo our priorities, and we have to say, wait to the system. It's about my health. It's about my love. It's about my kindness. It's about my gentleness. And those 3 things, you see a difference in 7 days. Now, how do you get into the physical fitness? Well, I can't do it. I got bad legs. Didn't walk bad. I told you there was $20 million worth of gold over there, and every morning if you walk 2 miles, you could get it. Bad leg folks, everybody out there walking. So what you have to do is start slow. Start 5 minutes. And then after a week or 3 days, the problem you have, someone hear this and say, he's right, I got to do it. Then they go out and hog it, something breaks and dump. When you get through, then do your physical fitness. Do your physical fitness. I say to people who haven't trained, you out there that's 80 years old, 60, 40, been out of high school 20 years, haven't the physical, stand in the mirror when you do your physical fitness naked. Why did I say naked? See, if you have clothes on, you're doing physical fitness, you hear something go zoop, you say, oh, I tore my shirt. If you're naked and hear something go zoop, you know that's you. And the minute you feel something, that's God saying stop. Stop. It'll heal. The minute you feel it, stop. Don't push it. And once that heals, go back. And that's all I can say. Water, physical fitness, and rest. If you said 4, it'd be the diet. Very important. And when we talk about water, Kool-Aid don't count, lemonade don't count, orange juice don't count, fresh grapefruit juice don't count. Why? Because they have to go through the digestive system. Water goes directly into the system and starts purifying the system. And also it cools the body. It's your cooling system. One of the problems we have, can you imagine every year, every cell in your body, your brain has a convention, check you out. Say, well, what's old Brother Greg doing this year? Say, well, he's 15 years old and he's drinking too much Kool-Aid and he's not drinking enough water. Say, okay, let's give him a warning. Let's put thirst. Where are we going to put it? Well, he got to be kind of stupid, so let's put it right in his throat. And we ignore it, and we ignore it. And then when you get about 60 years old, some people, 49, 50, they come every year and have this meeting. They say, well, what do you think? Say, well, let's take his right to get thirsty away. There's no need wasting the time. That's for Alzheimer's disease. And if you don't believe it, find people with Alzheimer's disease and ask them, when's the last time you've been thirsty? They can't tell you. You lose that right. If I'm limping and limping and limping, I ran from Los Angeles, California to New York City. I averaged 50 miles every day for 71 days. And I thought I had trained for it, except what I didn't know is you don't run on the highway, you run on the side of the highway. So there's gravel over there. So now I have to be very careful running on gravel, and I developed a whole new set of muscles up here I'd never used before.
Alright, so that video was a enlightening piece of media about spring water.
I want to go back to Jack Johnson because he's still in the back of my head. I can't get him out of my head where this conversation is concerned.
So now I'm going to try to find a video that explains fluoride in the water. A lot of public water systems and containers have fluoride put in them. Fluoride is a neurotoxin, and a lot of containers that have fluoride in them have a skull and crossbones on them before they're put into public water supplies. So please drink and eat healthy. Avoid food and water with fluoride in it. Let's look for some videos with fluoride in it. Fluoride was given to Nazi camp victims, and it is very deadly, of course. It was used to not only pacify victims of tyranny in concentration camps, but it was also used to destroy their brains. I'm going to look up fluoride truth. Alright, here is a video called The Fluoride Deception, and it also says, exposes the truth about water and fluoridated water. After this video, I may start a new episode of the Bodybuilding reality show. Thanks for staying with me to watch these important videos.
The
Colgate
360 Advanced Toothbrush cleans bacteria from...
Colgate is one of many products that has fluoride in it. It's very unhealthy for the body. Let's go back to that video. That advertisement got in the way of the broadcast about the water fluoridation. But here we go. We'll just go back to YouTube on this TV. Let's see here. Here's the video. The fluoride deception exposes the truth about water.
This is what I'm saying. You're not trying to hear
After
me.
this
Then what is it?
advertisement, another
I don't understand.
advertisement blocking the video that we're trying to watch.
Fluoride. Dentists say that drinking it can protect your teeth against cavities. Cities and towns all across the world actually dump it into the water supply, hoping to indiscriminately medicate the population through their tap water faucets. The official story on fluoride sounds wonderful. Drink the stuff and you won't get cavities, we're told. It's a nice story. But there's another side to this story, a side you're never told. And it starts with the astonishing but verifiable fact that nearly all the fluoride dripped into municipal water supplies isn't naturally occurring fluoride at all. In fact, it's actually a combination of hexafluorosilicic acid and sodium silicofluoride. These two chemicals are considered highly toxic by the EPA. They're actually classified as hazardous waste, and when packaged for transportation, they must be labeled as poison and handled by workers wearing industrial safety gear. So, what are hexafluorosilicic acid and sodium silicofluoride, and where do they come from? That's the part of this story that you probably won't believe. That is, not until you check it out for yourself. Because the more you look into the mythology of fluoride, the more bizarre this story becomes. And this bizarre story begins at phosphate mining companies. Phosphate is an important mineral used in fertilizers. It's mined from natural rock deposits scattered across the world, and the phosphate rock is then refined to produce phosphoric acid. If that name sounds familiar, that's because it's one of the main ingredients in carbonated sodas, such as Coke and Pepsi. Phosphoric acid is often compared to battery acid. It's a highly acidic liquid that is believed to be the primary reason why drinking sodas can result in kidney stones and a loss of bone mineral density. Phosphate rock is also used to create fertilizers. The problem is phosphate is often contaminated with high levels of fluoride, as much as 40,000 parts per million, or up to 4% of the raw ore. To remove the fluoride, sulfuric acid is added to a wet slurry of phosphate and water. This causes the fluoride to vaporize, creating highly toxic gaseous compounds such as hydrogen fluoride and silicon tetrafluoride. These toxic fluoride chemicals used to be released directly from the smokestacks of phosphate mining operations, but the nearby farms suffered devastating losses of cattle and food crops, which withered away and died due to, guess what? Fluoride poisoning. In order to stop this environmental destruction, the phosphate mining industry put in place a way to capture the toxic fluoride chemical vapors so that they wouldn't be released into the air and kill the surrounding livestock and vegetation. This was accomplished by installing wet scrubbers that captured the toxic fluoride chemicals, preventing them from being released into the environment and killing the plant and animal life living nearby. It is from these wet scrubbers that toxic fluoride chemicals are now harvested. They're collected, repackaged, shipped to your local city, and then dumped into the municipal water supply. So instead of these toxic fluoride chemicals being released by the phosphate mining smokestacks, they are instead captured and then released into the water supply of large cities, where the chemicals then contaminate the water of millions of people at a time. This is called water fluoridation. When dentists and doctors say they support fluoride in the water supply, what they're really saying is that they support the mass poisoning of the population with a highly toxic hazardous waste product that, if it weren't dripped into the water supply, it would have to be disposed of as a highly toxic hazardous waste under strict EPA regulations. Curiously, it is a violation of federal law to dump hexafluorosilicic acid or sodium silicofluoride into the water. Such an act, in fact, is considered an act of terrorism. Yet it is mysteriously allowed today as long as it is accompanied by a loosely justified claim that we're doing this to stop cavities. But setting aside for the moment the inconvenient truth that water fluoridation involves the illegal act of dumping hazardous waste into the water supply, there's another important question in all this. Do these toxic fluoride chemicals actually prevent cavities? Roughly 99% of the municipal water pumped through any given city never ends up in the mouths of the people. Most water is used for showering, washing dishes, washing clothes, watering yards, and filling pools. Almost none of the fluoride dripped into the water supply comes into contact with human teeth. It does, however, end up downstream, where it contaminates rivers, streams, and ultimately the oceans of our world. In this way, water fluoridation policies have become a convenient loophole through which the phosphate mining industry can dump its toxic waste byproducts into the environment without adhering to any EPA regulations whatsoever. Phosphate mining companies even turn a profit by selling their hazardous waste to cities and labeling it fluoride, even though this name is scientifically inaccurate. All this raises an obvious question. If fluoride kills cows, and crops, and fish, and is considered a hazardous waste chemical by the EPA, then how could it be healthy to ingest? And why don't doctors and dentists, even though they openly recommend fluoride, sometimes with irrational exuberance, know where fluoride really comes from? If dentists knew fluoride was derived from the chemical waste of the phosphate mining industry, would they still recommend that we consume it? The truth about fluoride is a lot like the truth about Enron, or Goldman Sachs, or every other shocking revelation that nobody believed until it suddenly became obvious that we were all being fooled for so long. Fluoride is a clever scheme where a hazardous waste chemical is dumped into the environment by passing it through the bodies of people first. We, the people, have become the toxic waste dump site of the phosphate mining industry, and chances are your local dentist fully supports this entire process. Over the last several decades, an astonishing 24 studies have established a statistical link between fluoride exposure and low IQs in children. One study conducted by the Center for Endemic Disease Control in China found that each additional milligram of fluoride detected in every liter of a child's urine was associated with a 0.59 point decrease in their IQ score. Another study found that fluoride exposure slashed the number of children achieving high IQs by more than 70%. It shouldn't be surprising, of course, to learn that consuming a hazardous chemical might impair brain function. Water fluoridation, it turns out, may be the root cause of the alarming drop in academic aptitude among children in first world nations. Historically speaking, the mathematics that were taught to 8th graders in the 1950s are now college-level courses in 2011. Maybe the reason why Johnny can't read or spell is because Johnny's been drinking too much fluoride. So I have 3 bits of advice for you. First, for your dental needs, always seek out a holistic dentist who understands the toxicity of fluoride and mercury. They will advise you not to drink toxic fluoride chemicals from your tap water. Secondly, don't drink unfiltered tap water. In addition to the toxic fluoride chemicals, tap water is also usually contaminated with chlorine and even dangerous elements from old water pipes. Buy a good countertop water filter from a company like Aquasana, or get a whole house filter to remove chlorine and fluoride from the water entering your home. Thirdly, help fight water fluoridation in your local city or town. If your city is like most cities, water fluoridation policies have been pushed by dentists and doctors who are technically ignorant of the origins and composition of fluoride, and yet they seek to assert power over the composition of your local water supply. They essentially attempt to mass medicate the entire population with what can only be called a drug, a biologically active chemical that they claim can prevent a health condition. And yet, has this drug called fluoride ever received FDA approval as a drug? Have the individual members of the population been individually assessed for their need for such a drug? Have medication doses and drug interactions been considered? Has anyone even been written a prescription for this drug? The answer is no. Fluoride is an unapproved drug being used in a highly illegal mass medication scheme that provides an excuse for the real agenda of disposing of a highly toxic hazardous waste chemical. It's time to stop fluoride. Demand an end to fluoridation in your local cities and towns. Call for those who purchase and handle fluoride to stop what they're doing. Question the safety of these toxic chemicals being dripped into the water supply. These are actions that endanger the public. They could be called acts of terrorism. And publicly shame the doctors and dentists who have taken part in this mass chemical poisoning, causing untold harm to populations all over the world. Help us stop the fluoride poisoning of our world. Learn more at naturalnews.com. Join the Facebook group No Fluoride. See more videos about fluoride at naturalnews.tv. Visit fluoridealert.org and other anti-fluoride websites that are working to end the fluoride poisoning. Together, with your help, we can end the era of fluoride in our world and protect our children from this industrial poisoning. Thank you for listening. This is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, reporting for naturalnews.com and the nonprofit Consumer Wellness Center.
So we're going to watch one more video about fluoride and what it does to the body and the alternative to a lot of water additives that should not be kept from public knowledge. This video again is about fluoride, and it has an advertisement that needs to be skipped.
I save money buying online.
I can help and give suggestions.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to Koi's Corner. Water is easily the most important aspect to our lives. This is undebatable. And anyone living in a first world society these days has virtually unlimited access to it at any point in the day. This alone is an achievement based on thousands of years of evolution throughout our societies and our abilities to transport what we need for our lives. But for many countries and millions of people that do have access to this water, it might not be safe. It might be deadly because much of this water contains something known as fluoride, a poisonous chemical that does far more damage to us than the good it claims to do. Now, fluoride derives from the chemical element fluorine, which is located in the periodic table, and it's used as what they consider medicine. And even though it's considered medicine, it's really not. This is a chemical that in no way, shape, or form should be ingested by humans as something to prevent issues within our body. It can be ingested. It won't kill you per se right away, but it's something that can be ingested in a pill form or again through water, and it's used to prevent tooth decay, or so it says. Now keep in mind, this is the governmental claims to why we need fluoride in our water, is because it helps stop decay in our teeth. That's it. No other reason. Now you might be saying, okay, but I don't need this. I brush my teeth every day. I eat healthy. I make sure to floss and to rinse with this. Why would I need them to put fluoride in my water? And that's a good argument because you really don't. It's not too hard to prevent tooth decay when you eat the right diet and when you take care of your hygiene. But still, with no poll or consensus to it, governments have decided against our, rights, our choice to have it or not, to place this fluoride in our drinking water, in our tap water, in the water systems that go through a lot of major cities. And this takes place in Ireland, in Poland, in Spain, in the UK, and most of all, in the United States, where over 300 million people are introduced to fluoride-ridden water. Again, this is all without our consent. We didn't decide that we wanted this fluoride in our water. They put it there for us without even asking. And this is all for the sake of something as small as cavities. Remember that. This isn't to stop deadly diseases or to keep us from getting cancer. This is just to potentially prevent cavities. And the biggest way governments pass this off is by saying something as if it's unharmful or it doesn't really do damage to people, so it doesn't matter if it's in the water or not. But this is false. A global, massive undertaking for something as simple as cavities seems a bit fishy. And we noticed this. We got smarter over the past 50 years and realized we didn't choose this. We didn't want this. We didn't agree to having this fluoride in our water. Now, what's to follow are basically the major points as to why this is such a big deal and why we need to be careful of drinking and using fluoride-based water. I could go on with this list for hours, but I'm just gonna keep it very short and let you guys do your own research. I'll link some things below. And then once we get past it, we'll go into how we can get away from this fluoride-ridden water and stay safe and keep our bodies healthy. Now to begin, here's a diagram of how much of this US drinking water is truly fluoridated. It's a lot, and the only place to really truly start this conversation as to how it is bad for us and why is to think of the pineal gland, one of the most important metaphysical aspects to life when it comes to spiritual awakening. I did a video on the pineal gland here, so make sure to check that out before we continue. Basically, the pineal gland is part of the endocrine system. It outputs chemicals into our brain, such as melatonin and serotonin, chemicals that help us not only sleep, but to be happy and to experience things. And beyond this is again known as our third eye, a very spiritual thing when it comes to Egyptian cultures, to Hindu and Buddhist cultures. It is the seat of our soul. It is the place where we reside consciously. Even when we meditate, we tend to focus out of our third eye, and this alone makes it an incredibly important factor to our life as we make progress and change and adapt. But unfortunately, the pineal gland calcifies much easier than any other gland in the body. It essentially attracts this calcium, even more so than teeth. And fluoride calcifies and creates this calcium which deposits in our pineal gland and muddles our growth. So essentially one of the biggest factors to our sleep and our well-being and our spiritual awakening is also something that is extremely susceptible to fluoride, the most susceptible part of our body. So when you take in fluoride, the first place that is affected is our pineal gland. So we must get away from this. Which leads into the next issue, which is what we eat. Because what we eat is what we are. The things we eat, we put into our body, are what dissipate, energize our body, and let us move forward throughout our day, let us make progress physically. And this water in these countries that do use fluoride is irrigated not just to humans, but to animals, to animal agriculture, to these animals that people eat. So even if you somehow get fluoride out of your water, if you're eating meat from any animal, it's most likely fluoridated water, which means there's fluoridation inside the meat that you eat. Even on a small scale, this still harms you. So basically, if you are eating meat in any way, shape, or form, you're fluoridating yourself, whether you like it or not. And the only way to truly escape this, whether or not you agree with it ethically, is to eat a vegan diet, a plant-based diet, a high-carb, low-fat diet that contains non-GMO, non-modified fruits and vegetables, things that are not dealt with in this manner of irrigation from fluoridated water. So it is the only option, really, when it comes to eating, to not only knock fluoride out of your water, but to get it out of your system when eating as well. And the list goes on, from inhibiting hormonal and testosterone growth in young children, men and women, affecting them in ways that we haven't fully grasped yet, to having these effects again on our endocrine system and ruining our sleep cycle, thus making us more susceptible to stress, cancerous chemicals, and cancer in general. These diseases become a lot more prevalent when we have a poor sleep cycle, when we have a poor system that doesn't regulate well. Even the main purpose for stopping tooth decay has been proven ineffective. We have studies, as I can show right here, that show the rate of tooth decay is slowly declining at a steady rate, which means the introduction of fluoride has done nothing to deal with this. So how can we avoid this? How can we keep this fluoride out of our body, out of our diet, out of our mind, and lead a more healthy life and a more spiritually progressive life when it comes to awakening? Again, as I said before, it's all about what goes into your body. So start with a plant-based diet of non-GMO food, non-GMO products. It might be a little bit more expensive, but if you can't afford it, it's the best way to start. If not, try to stick to plant-based diets or more vegan-esque diets as much as you can. Meats will do nothing but harm you, especially with fluoride-ridden meat. Second is to get fluoride-free water. Do not drink tap water. Stay away from it. Don't put it in your body. It will not help you. And the most effective ways to get past this are to either get a fluoride filter, which are sort of expensive, but the best way other than this is to get spring bottled water, which has virtually no parts per million of fluoride in it, as well as pH water, which is a little more expensive, but again, you can get it at Whole Foods, places like that. If you can't afford it, drink it. It will make you not only feel better, but be healthier in general. Next, use fluoride-free toothpaste. Let me show you mine. So I use two different types. One is a little softer on the teeth than the other one is more coarse, but also works just as well. There is Earth Paste. It says for kids, but again, adults can use it as well. And then EcoDent. EcoDent is much softer as well, and this works just as well. It's a powder, actually, so you kind of pour a little bit on your toothbrush. It works wonders. Don't ever use toothpaste with fluoride in it, because it has a lot. There is a reason these toothpaste bottles say contact poison control if ingested. I don't think anything that goes in your mouth to clean it should be something that can hurt you if you swallow it. This is sketchy. After this, it gets really simple. Just deny fluoride at dentist visits. When you go to the dentist, let them know, I don't want to use any base fluoride products, regardless of whether or not they agree. They probably won't, because they might not be open to this or understand this, but tell them no. I don't want it. If it has fluoride in it, don't use it on me, and they have to agree with you. Again, you're the one going to the dentist. And last but not least, use a filter for your shower. Now, there are a lot of these online. I would just suggest doing your research on which one fits the best, because a lot of them can be scams, but the few real ones do work. Get a filter for your shower to filter out this fluoride. It will help clean your water up, and therefore you won't be putting fluoride in your body from the outside in. It's a great way to stay away from it, and it works wonders. And last but not least, once you start this, go get a detox. Go to a sauna, go for a run, sweat it out as much as you can, get the fluoride-based water out of your system as soon as you can, and start this journey to being healthier and being more aware. And let me know what you think. If you have any questions or concerns, comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe as well. Share this with anybody it might help. It would mean the world to me. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. You can see me right now currently working on some stuff. If you'd like to donate, please click this link right here. It would mean the world to me. It'll help me pay bills, basically, get stuff out of the way so I can put the most time I can into this stuff. I mean, look how hard I'm working right here. Just trying to get these scripts done so I can show you guys all this cool information. Thank you guys very much. Hope you can help.
Alright, so that was another informative video about fluoride and the benefits of fluoride-free spring water. Now, my show is a reality show. I have several topics that are going to be based on internet con related productions, including reality shows. There's going to be a topic for every reality show that I broadcast from this channel. If you would, please help me keep my home, which is the headquarters of InternetCom at this point in life, and please donate as much money as you think a truth media operation needs to run for a year or as long as possible. I'd like to broadcast truth forever, and I'd like to work with communities who want to help their neighbors know the truth about health and local government and world government activities. I want to be a part of the truth community forever, and I will also want to be a leader in my community and serve the truth forever. Please donate to my business fundraiser via PayPal. My email address at PayPal is imgurfans@gmail.com. Once again, that's imgurfans@gmail.com. And if you would, please donate as much money as you wish for a truth in media business. This is the first and only truth media network and convention system. It's also going to be the better alternative to Comic-Con and Disney when or if we get enough help to build our business and make it into a interactive and strong media service. Thanks for watching the Bodybuilding reality show, and please contribute to my business and help me spread the truth and help others who are in need of wisdom, truth, and love.